started with the sound of tires crunching gravel. My golf cart rolling away while I was still inside the clubhouse. I sprinted outside, confused, thinking maybe one of my friends had decided to pull a harmless prank. But then I saw him, Karen's teenage son, Tyler, hands gripping the steering wheel. A smug grin plastered on his face as he tore down the HOA road like he was in a fast and furious movie. Now this wasn't just any golf cart. I'd spent months restoring it. New leather seats, polished chrome, custom paint. It was my weekend pride and joy. Seeing it vanish like that, my blood boiled. I yelled his name, but he just laughed and shouted, "I'm just borrowing it," as he disappeared around the corner. Borrowing it? Yeah, right. That's what thieves say before they return stuff. If they ever return it. By the time I caught up on foot, the HOA's queen bee herself, Karen, was already outside, sipping her iced tea like she owned the neighborhood. "Oh, don't be dramatic," she said when I told her what happened. "He's just a kid. He'll bring it back." I told her straight, "That's not how this works. Karen, your kid stole my property." Her smirk faded, replaced by that look only Karens can give. A mix of fake innocence and condescension. "You're overreacting," she said. "It's just a golf cart, not a Lamborghini." The thing is, in our HOA, people already saw me as the strict one, the guy who actually followed the rules. And Karen? She used that to twist the story. By the time Tyler brought the golf cart back, muddy, scratched, and smelling like soda, half the neighborhood thought I was the one making a scene. But that's when I decided, if Karen's kid thought it was fine to borrow my property, I'd make sure everyone saw what borrowing really looked like. And this time, it wouldn't end with just words. Because sometimes, the only way to deal with an entitled family is to give them a lesson they'll never forget, in front of everyone. The next morning I printed photos, close-ups of the scratches, mud splatters, and Tyler's grin. I folded the pictures into my clipboard, and walked into the monthly HOA meeting like I was carrying evidence to a trial. Word had spread. The room buzzed with curiosity. Karen arrived late, coiffed and composed, her son trailing behind, eyes downcast. The HOA president ran through the agenda until someone said, "Can we hear from the homeowner with the photos?" That someone was me. I stood and spoke plainly. No theatrics, just facts. Tyler had taken my cart without permission and returned it damaged. Karen had brushed it off. I displayed the photos. The room quieted. Even the smallest murmurs died. Evidence has a way of rearranging sympathies. Karen answered with practiced calm. "He borrowed it," she said, voice smooth. "He's young. He didn't mean harm." Her performance leaned on empathy. People softened. I could see the tilt in their faces. But the photos remained between us like an honest witness that refused to wink. Tyler's face, when he caught sight of the photos again, went pale and small. The bravado melted, replaced by a puzzled fear he had not felt before right at once. The HOA board, not wanting drama, suggested mediation. Reasonable on the surface. I asked for concrete restitution, pay for repairs, attend a safety course, and issue a formal apology to the community. Karen's smile shrank into a vague promise to talk to Tyler. That was a diplomatic non-answer. Then they moved to other items, phone numbers and holiday plans filling the gap. The meeting settled back into polite business. But the imbalance lingered. I realized polite procedure wouldn't force accountability. Promises without teeth mean nothing when entitlement is in play. So I planned a public, measured response. Not a spectacle, an organized, undeniable moment where Tyler would have to return what he took and acknowledge the damage in front of neighbors who saw him do it. A moment that left no room for PR-friendly spin or coercive sympathy. I left the meeting with a list of allies, neighbors who'd seen the cart, and a few board members who appreciated the clarity of the photos. I had a time, a place, and a purpose to stage a small civic theater that held Tyler accountable without stooping to cruelty. My plan depended on three things: witnesses, timing, and a clear script. I would call the neighborhood to gather under a credible pretense, present the evidence again, and make a simple demand. Fix the cart and apologize. No shouting, no humiliation, just clear community standards delivered publicly. It felt clinical and fair, and also a little satisfying. I wanted the message to land. Property and boundaries matter here. Saturday morning came with the kind of sunshine that makes everything look too peaceful to be real. Perfect. I parked my golf cart, still scratched, still dented, right in the center of the community cul-de-sac. Then I sent a message to our HOA group chat. Quick community demo today, 10 a.m. Everyone welcome. Within 15 minutes, neighbors began trickling out. Some curious, some pretending to be casual, but clearly eager to see what was about to happen. And then came the star of the show, Karen, arms crossed, dragging Tyler behind her like he was a dog refusing to go on a walk. "What is this?" she asked, voice loud enough for the entire block to hear. Oh, I said, smiling. Just a little hands-on demonstration about responsibility. I motioned to the cart. You see this? Tyler here borrowed it last week, but today he's going to return it, properly. The crowd murmured. Karen's expression flickered between confusion and outrage. You're humiliating him, she hissed. I kept my tone calm. No, ma'am. I'm teaching him, and everyone else, what accountability looks like. I handed Tyler a rag and a bucket of soap water. Let's start by cleaning the mud off. You'll notice the scratches too. We'll get to those next. Tyler froze, eyes darting between me, the crowd, and his mom. For a moment I thought he'd bolt, but Karen, probably realizing how bad that would look, gave him a little shove and whispered, just do it. So he did. Slowly, awkwardly, he began scrubbing the cart while the neighborhood watched in silence. Kids giggled. A few adults tried to hide their smiles. Someone even started recording on their phone. After a few minutes I said, all right, Tyler, one last thing. I handed him the mic from our HOA's portable speaker. The same one. Karen used to announce bake sales and pool rules. Tell everyone what happened. He swallowed hard, then mumbled. I took it without asking. I shouldn't have. I'm sorry. The crowd clapped. Not mockingly, genuinely. You could feel the shift. Like the neighborhood had just witnessed something cleansing. Karen didn't say a word. Her face was red, her lips tight, her pride clearly wounded. But she couldn't argue. Because for once, her son had actually done the right thing. And as everyone dispersed, one neighbor patted my shoulder and said quietly, about time someone stood up to her. I just smiled. Because this wasn't just about a golf cart anymore. It was about drawing a line and making sure it stayed visible. The next morning, I thought it was finally over. Tyler had apologized, the neighbors had seen it, and the golf cart sat gleaming in my driveway, cleaner than ever. But if there's one thing I've learned living under this HOA, it's that Karen never lets things go. By noon, I got an email from the HOA board. Notice of violation. Unauthorized community gathering and public disturbance. I laughed out loud. Of course. She'd filed an official complaint, twisting the whole situation, as if I had hosted a disruptive event, without board approval. Classic Karen counterattack. That afternoon, she strutted down the street, sunglasses on, pretending she didn't see me. But when she passed my driveway, she smirked and said just loud enough, hope your little stunt was worth it. It was. She just didn't know it yet. I forwarded her complaint, and the full recording of the incident to the HOA president, complete with timestamps showing she was the one yelling and instigating. I also attached messages from half a dozen neighbors thanking me for handling things maturely. By evening, my phone buzzed again. Another email. This one short. Complaint dismissed. No further action required. But it didn't end there. The HOA president added one more line. We will be reviewing the behavior of all residents during the incident for future policy updates. Translation, Karen's under review. The next HOA meeting was packed. Karen tried to regain control, talking about privacy and abuse of community space. But nobody was buying it. People had seen her act. They'd watched her son take something that wasn't his and learned who the real problem was. When the president calmly announced new rules about respecting property boundaries, Karen's face turned a shade of red that could stop traffic. She looked at me like she wanted to speak, but didn't. For once, she was silent. After the meeting, Tyler approached me. Hey, he said, shuffling his feet. I fixed the scratches. My dad helped me buff them out. That caught me off guard. Thanks, kid. I appreciate that. He nodded awkwardly. Sorry for, everything. It wasn't much, but it was real. And for the first time, I saw something in his eyes that wasn't entitlement. It was understanding. Karen still avoids me to this day, but every time she drives by, she slows down just enough to glance at my golf cart. Gleaming, spotless, and parked proudly in the open. Because now, everyone in this HOA knows one thing for sure. If you borrow something from me, you're returning it properly and publicly. If you enjoyed this story and want to see more crazy HOA and Karen moments, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment telling me what you'd have done in my place. Your support helps me bring you even more unbelievable neighborhood drama every week.